I'm glad I didn't have to firebomb your house.
Yeah, it'd be, loss of some prime real estate.
It was already a loss when you moved in.
Damn. Wow. That's tough.
Almost as tough as this, having to stop watching this excellent fucking Lance Armstrong documentary that I was just watching, to do this fucking podcast with you.
Oh, I thought you meant this movie. I was like...
I mean, we'll get there. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Lance Armstrong, huh? What's so excellent about it? What's so excellent about the movie, I guess?
So a few months ago we watched this Lance Armstrong biopic, and it was all about his cheating, whatever. It's a very character profile kind of deal. And
they included the orgies, right? That's how you do a biopic, right? They knew what they were doing.
I don't remember there being any explicit sex, but he does treat women pretty shitty in it. But it's more about him being a complete asshole to everyone on his team, and lying and cheating and being just a smug, self-absorbed, kind of whatever narcissist type. And
same.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
I'm the Woody Allen type, though. Go on.
Oh
no!
Is this Rick's next pick?
No, God, no! I wouldn't want to watch one of his films.
It's on our list. I have one on our list. Anyway, the Lance Armstrong.
Wait, really? Okay. Anyway,
30 for 30 is good. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so far. I like watching a love to hate kind of guy, and he's very much that. So. Yes, there's a Woody Allen movie on the list for sure.
What's the Woody Allen
I actually
movie?
Have only seen one Woody Allen movie. I figured Annie Hall is the classic one that everybody talks about as his best movie, or Manhattan, one of the two. So okay, I figure it'd be good to just watch one.
Right. No relation to Tim Allen. I always think Tim Allen, right? Tool Time guy, right? No relation.
Correct.
Woody Allen is a bad guy, though, right?
Yes, Woody Allen is the one who married his technically not stepdaughter, and also was accused by his biological daughter of molestation.
Sheesh.
So, yeah.
But not Tim Allen. He's cool.
No, Tim Allen's
fuck, man, dude. Why is it every? All right, well.
I don't think Tim Allen has gone full MAGA, full.
Oh, okay.
But he's very much I got canceled by Fox because I was too right wing or whatever. He's one of those. So
was he right wing? What did he do outside of Tool Time?
Yeah.
Is he? Oh, is he?
Well, the name of the show is Home Improvement, not Tool Time.
Oh! Wait, Tool Time was the show that he had on Home Improvement. Yeah. I was one layer too deep. Sorry.
He was in the Santa Claus movies. He was the Santa that takes over for the Santa Kills.
Yeah.
He also snitched on his friends when he got arrested for coke in the 80s. He does the Pure Michigan ads, the tourism ads. Shut up, Pure Michigan. Those are good ads, even though he sucks. Yeah, he's just a kind of garden variety, TV mostly, but also some movie star who kind of lost touch. Not quite as bad as Roseanne, but up there.
I don't really know Roseanne. Was she in a show called
Roseanne?
Roseanne? Yeah, okay, all right.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I was going to say. It's a good show. It got John Goodman kind of his... I don't know if it was his big break, but he definitely, he'll be rich forever because he was on that show. So
interesting. Yeah, so... Have you seen a lot of old shows? Old TV shows?
I watched some, Nick at Night. That was my big exposure. Back in the day, so a lot of 70s, 80s, and 90s kind of reruns. Okay. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so I didn't own a TV growing up, right? So the only time I would really watch it would be going over my aunt's, where my grandma lived, or going over my grandparents, I guess, when I was much younger. But we would watch old westerns and shit sometimes, 20s and 30s. Oh, Boomerang. I don't know if you know that show. 20s and 30s. There's something, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know about the 20s and 30s. Maybe the 50s and 60s.
Probably. I mean, this was from when I was like young high schooler, maybe middle school. I don't remember much of it, but I do remember it was westerns.
I don't remember
all
westerns
super
on
cheesy.
Boomerang. Interesting. What
Yeah.
Western TV shows or Western movies?
All TV
Okay,
shows.
so like Bonanza, or like Dallas, or what's the?
I think Bonanza is Bonanza the one that has like
Beverly
a map
Hillbillies?
and it like
I have no idea. I have no.
it like burns in or something.
My...
Okay, all right, never mind. Yeah,
that sounds like the beginning of The Thing, the logo to. Where they light the trash bag on fire.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
and
of
it says The Thing. Yeah.
I was thinking of the fucking ship sailing around the earth.
Oh,
and
no.
like,
and it lands in Dallas and it takes down a hat and walks off.
Yeah. Good stuff. No, but like that's pretty much it. My mom introduced me to Quincy, MD. Shout out Quincy. And
okay. Shout out Quincy.
I know like the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Nice. I didn't know
always
this
got
about you.
Always got a weird vibe from Dick Van Dyke, I'll be honest with you. I don't know why. So it seemed like a weird guy to me.
He's still alive, I believe. He's still kicking.
That's
If I remember
crazy.
correctly.
Well,
yeah.
And MacGyver, which I love. Love MacGyver. Love John Paul Dean Anderson, whatever his name is. I like the early seasons a lot more than the later ones. But that's a subject
crazy.
for debate.
I'm not surprised that you like MacGyver.
Yeah.
These other shows, I'm like, okay, but I can totally see you liking MacGyver.
MacGyver was the gateway drug into like CSI because I was like, oh shit, and like you could do this for like a living. Oh, that's crazy.
Should I become William Peterson? In
Essentially, no. I always like Nick.
Remember?
One of the guys. Yeah. He gets like buried underground. And then Gil saves him, the father figure. He like swoops in and saves him. He's like, "Oh, Nick!" Yeah, it was touching. That was great. Good stuff.
I just want to say, you talking about this is really elevated by the fact that you have Oreo hugging the chair behind you. Oh, she heard me say her name. Maybe she perked up, but she was like melting. You know that thing that cats do where they like push their face down and they look all sad. Yeah. She was doing that, and it was really cute. She's like, "Can you shut the fuck up, Dad?"
She's got both arms around the chair. And so, look, there she goes. Yeah, so adorable.
She's so cute. Gosh.
They've been doing that more and more. Just putting, like, the arms around the chair. It's super cute.
We have to get a photo collage of all of our cats and put it as the cover art one day. When we do Cats, the musical.
Ooh, okay. Wait a second. Wait. Do I snipe that for the Rick's pick today? You know I haven't thought of one yet. Anyway.
This is We Want to Watch, and my name is Lane.
My name is Ricky.
This is a podcast about movies that we want to watch. And this week was Elaine's Frame, under coercion. Not under coercion, but under duress. I picked this movie. No, I'm saying I like this. This was I picked a fun film. Yeah. It was. I picked Boogie Nights from 1997, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. I picked this because you said you wanted to watch a good movie, one that had us pushing the runtime. If we're pushing the runtime on this one, I'm going to be pissed at you because I told myself this morning when I woke up I want to be in bed by 8 p.m. And then you hit me with the, can we record at 7? I just started cooking at 6:35.
At 6 o'clock! It was just taking me a minute. I meant to get started earlier, and I was like, alright, well, I'm never going to be able to cook and eat.
You should just eat on mic. It's fine.
Nah.
I actually took paper notes this time.
I did that on the earlier pods too, anyway.
I remember. I took paper notes this time so that you wouldn't hear me clicking a million times on this episode because I've noticed how bad it's gotten.
Nice.
That my mic picks it up.
I'll try not to click as well. Although my mouse is like
no, your clicking doesn't get picked up.
It doesn't. Good. Thank Christ. Cool.
No, it's me. No, we've traded your desk banging for my mouse clicking, I think. So
like a little chin swaggle right there.
Yeah. I know. So have you seen any other movies by this director? So I think I named some last episode. The big one is There Will Be Blood, or Phantom Thread, or Magnolia. Nope. Okay. Punch Drunk Love?
Nope.
Okay, how about Licorice Pizza, which I don't think you saw, but you might have heard about.
I have heard of.
Discourse about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
which we don't have to talk about the discourse, whatever. I think that's probably fucking obnoxious, but that's a pretty famous director.
Film coming out in 2025. Sorry.
Yeah, that movie has DiCaprio and I want to say 2 people I don't fucking like attached to it. I feel like I got
There's a lot
bad
of people
vibes.
in the Wikipedia blurb, so I don't know who you would get bad vibes from.
Give me a couple.
Regina Hall, Sean Penn, Elena Haim. Ah, okay. Who's Sean Penn?
Elena Haim. He's an actor. He played Harvey Milk in the movie Milk a decade and a half ago.
Oh, yeah, I kind of know this guy. Yeah.
He's in a couple other things too that you might recognize. He's
dude,
he was Madonna's husband.
He looks like ridiculously handsome in like the one Wikipedia photo from him at the 1997 Cannes Film Festival, but his face looks so small. Cannes, sorry. But his facial features look so small compared to his face. It's like a me that like you didn't like size up properly, and it's like, wait a second, what's going on here?
So much for not clicking on the mouse. Okay, can you read
That's just on his Wikipedia page.
Film festival one more time.
1997 Cannes Film Festival. Is that not the way to say it either?
No, it's funny because people go back and forth on how you are supposed to pronounce it, and neither of those pronunciations are the ones that you gave. Which I'm not laughing because you got it wrong. I'm laughing that you got it wrong twice.
What is it supposed to be?
People either say con, which is like the pretentious French way of saying it, or can is the usual American way. Again, you have no way of knowing this. It's just funny.
I'm gonna say it Cannes. I'm gonna keep saying it Cannes. People can correct me all they'd like.
Con Air, Cannes. Okay.
It gets the point across. I don't have you.
So this director is kind of famous. I'd say one of the more famous, more well-acclaimed directors of, or like auteur directors of today. He's still making movies, obviously, and he's known as like a kind of very hands-on, kind of, like I said, auteurist, visionary writer-director. My experience with this, I've seen a few of this director's movies and have liked them well enough, but not been like in love. But this is a director who has like fans, Yeah. Not like Zack Snyder level, but like, Yeah. But like people who really dig his stuff. So I wanted to crack into this one because this is one of his more popular movies and kind of in his early in his career. And so I wanted to give this a try to see, what the fuss was about, if there was maybe more to it that I wasn't seeing, like in some of his later stuff that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. And what did you think? Coming out the other side?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Yeah.
I mean, I liked it a lot more after like the tonal shift in the middle. And I feel like it adds like a nice sort of, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's super cool. It reminds me of Showgirls to an extent, just because of the explicit content that they're dealing with, and like the way that people's lives, they're like, oh hey, like by the way, like hatred breeds hatred, yada yada. However you want to look at it, right? But this movie comes out a lot more optimistic on the other side, right? And they're like a lot more joking with how they portray pretty much everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like one of the things I don't like about this movie, or that keeps this from being like transcendent for me, is that it feels like such a well-worn story. Like you're saying, showgirl. Like there are so many movies about like the rise to fame and the dark side of fame and like the bad side of show business, specifically like Showgirls, for example, or I'm trying to think. Fucking Maxine comes to mind, which that movie that just came out a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, like even like something is like fucking Scarface, right? It's just like there's just a lot of like those like with power comes, and specifically in like a show business context, comes like a moral rot or whatever that it's built on that. Oh, not responsibility, not Spider-Man. So I just bad. Oh my god. So it's not that like I said, I still really liked this movie. It's just it doesn't feel as epic as I feel like it wants to be, or like it's striving for, just because it doesn't feel as deep. like there's a lot of I think directors or like previous movies that you could compare this to in this like epic kind of framing, and I think that this director probably models himself after in a way, and it just, I never feel like obviously the stories that these characters kind of go through are moving and like emotional, but and even metaphorical for the times that they're in, but they never feel that like transcendent, like epic scale to me that I think this is going for. But maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really like how well fleshed out every character feels like, and the character arcs that they go through, like, really impactful. But I don't know. I mean, I guess like looking at the story is difficult for me because it does feel like it's straight up. I mean, it's not like a straight up ripoff of Showgirls, right? But it is like, oh hey, like the Rise of Stardom, yada yada. It's like, okay. I mean, that's like the easiest point to compare it to. I haven't seen like any other film like that, but I'm sure there's tons.
Yeah,
because like you always hear about it, right? Like, oh, like the Rise of Stardom, yada yada.
It's funny because Showgirls is a couple years after this, but apparently this movie, I'm sorry, Showgirls is before this.
Okay.
But this movie is based on a script that the writer and director wrote in like the 80s. So, it's like these are timeless, themes, right? Like you're saying. Yeah. I mean, even A Star is Born, like, which has been around since the 40s, like as far as the story goes. Yeah. We'll do that movie someday. We'll do one of those. That's a future we want to watch. But yeah, I mean, it does feel very similar in arc. I think you're not wrong to draw that comparison.
But there's a lot like more arcs. I feel like there's a lot more characters that we actually get to like interact with. That
this is a much better movie,
right? This is a much better movie. Like, I mean, overall, like not even touching on, because I do want to say like a lot of like the camera effects and the way that they frame scenes and like the parallels that they'll draw and stuff, super cool. And I really enjoy just like the way that the film was shot and created. Like aside from the storylines, but the stories themselves, like, I want to say they're touching.
They're definitely moving at times.
Yeah, they're moving, right? Like they're very human. Like you can definitely relate. It's like, oh shit, like, yeah, that's it might not be an emotion that I'll feel in my life, but it's one that I can empathize with, and I can be like, oh, totally. Like I can see how fucked up that would be. It is a cool film. There's, I don't know.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say there's like a ton of homoerotic tension throughout like a lot of the film, right? And then when he's like at the end, like jerking off for the guy in the truck, and then he has like the guys pull up and like beat the shit out of him. It's like, it's the same guys that would be like on the street getting picked up by the car and being like, oh yeah, like of course I've seen these movies. Like, yeah, no, we throw them down at the frat. But like they hate the people that create them. And like, I mean, it's, I guess it kind of hasn't really changed, right? A lot of times,
that's
like,
true.
Porn stars are treated with derision, even though I don't know,
it's
just a job. And like, it's kind of fucked up. And this movie kind of points at things which are like you said, still prescient. Like they're still here today. In regards to like how people dehumanize. I mean, all actors and all stars, but specifically adult film stars for sure. I don't know. It's so fucked up though. Like, I don't know. In a lot of ways, and like in the same way that it mirrors Roller Girl, who gets like assaulted in the car, and then like she takes her anger out on the whatever. I don't want to say jock, but like the frat guy.
Fuck.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It's such a cool parallel, and it's weird to see how they end up in like similar situations. Like they're both like the guys getting the shit beat out of them, right? Yeah, they're the downtrodden in this case, from like such completely different like trajectories, right? And then the way that their lives continue after that are like so different. I don't know. It's like weird, and I know that's like really late in the film, and it's like, I guess, an odd point to make, but it's like that's such an impactful scene to me. It's so I don't know. The end of the film is like so, I don't know, violent, especially compared to a lot of the earlier stuff. I know we see the the one scene in the middle that I talked about, the tonal shift, which is also, I don't know. That's where, at least for me, it goes from like just viewing the dark underbelly of like, oh hey, like all the stars do drugs and like they get pissed off and angry. That's when it's like, oh fuck, like I don't know, like there are like real stakes here, like people are dying. I don't know. It's fucked up.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's totally the trajectory that the movie takes, right? Is like this rise and fall.
Yeah.
And you know,
the mother getting denied her kid. It's so heart wrenching. Like, there's so many like just gut punches. Like, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That to me is actually the hardest scene to watch, I think, other than maybe the shooting in the diner is harder to watch, I think, from like a tension standpoint, because I for sure thought that Don Cheadle's character was going to get framed or like shot in some kind of racist attack, or like something bad was going to happen. And so like the visceral like pit in my stomach watching that scene, only to then be like, no, do not take that fucking money. But then he kind of has a happy ending. Yeah. And, you know, and it's like such a relief, I think, that the movie has shown you everybody kind of getting their, you know, their gut punches, like you're saying. Then this kind of small mercy, you know, even though, of course, he is horribly fucking traumatized from that. And, like, obviously he's always going to be looking over his shoulder. It's still very, like, oh, like, you know, something in this movie is turning out right. Like, his wife does have the baby, and he does, you know, have his little store open, and he does have his aspirations, you know, come to fruition. Like, all of that is just like an exhale after all of that other shit in the movie. Yeah,
and I think that sort of triggers, because then we see, like, the rest of the scenes of people getting their own, like, little happy endings. It's sort of, you know, or not happy endings,
except for the
slightly better.
Well, except for, because that happens before they go to the drug dealer's house and have the shootout at the end.
Oh, fuck, yeah, shit, yeah, you're right, yeah.
But that is also a different, because, you know, of course our protagonist is Mark Wahlberg, and so, like, we have to take we still have to see his, like, kind of story redemption, or his, like, and so... But that scene also functions as a transition, like you're saying, of this arc, where that incredible scene of him, I didn't know Mark Wahlberg had it in him. I'm going to say, like, you know,
didn't know he had the sauce like this.
I didn't. When he's sitting on the couch and they're listening to fucking Jesse's Girl, and it's just like a minute or two on his face where he's just like realizing, like, I have to fucking get my act together or else I'm gonna die here. It's pretty profound. Like I said, I was impressed. So yeah, I think this movie's structure, at first, for just a minute when everybody was getting the shit beat out of them, like when it was kind of cutting between them all. Yeah. Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
Yeah, a long time ago. Movie? But yes, yeah. I know they.
You remember how that movie ends?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it kind of like cuts between like
fragments of lives.
Yeah. They reminded me of that, and I was like, and that's a movie I do not fucking like. And so I was like, is this gonna be like a big triumphant, like, kicking these characters while they're down, like, kind of thing? And it doesn't quite reach that level of like hatred or cynicism for the characters, which is good. I do think, like you're saying, this ending, it's a found family kind of.
End. Mark Wahlberg's character, like, for sure. Found family. Like, I guess everyone did sort of find, like, their niche.
They're all there, right? Like, they're all, you know, there's no happy endings necessarily, but there's no bad endings other than the characters who die. Right. You know, so.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, that's nice. And it was, like optimistic in a way, right? Because it's, sure, they're not, like, Dirk, I'm going to call him Dirk Diggler.
Yeah.
Great name, by the way. Great name. People have made jokes, like Dirk Diggler jokes, to me before, and I didn't know it was in reference to this movie.
What are you talking
about? It's been like, no, I'm just like, oh, that's a funny name. Dirk Diggler. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So I would start making the jokes too. No reference frame for it. Anyway.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know. It is sort of fun to see. It's like the cookout and everything was super cute too.
Yeah.
And like the dude getting like his brother's strip club and everything. Like I don't know. It's happy. It's like kind of a little happy ending for everyone, or a nightclub or whatever it is. Yeah. But I do want to go back to the diner scene when he's picking out like the donuts and he's like, "Oh, I'll have two of this, and two of that." Like it's like framed through the glass casing.
The glass, and there's so much glass behind him, and it's so fucking nerve-wracking because you're
so
like, who is coming through? Like, who is going to do it?
Well, we see like the white guy like sitting at the table, and like
and you're like,
dude's in an all white suit. It's like, oh fuck, like. I was gonna say I was kind of proud of myself because I'm like, oh, I'm getting better at reading movies. As soon as he walked in with the all white suit, like after saying like goodbye to his wife in the truck, I was like, oh, something horrible is happening here. Like, I'm thankful that I'm thankful it went down the way it did. Right, like you said, like the sort of like, oh shit, like is this going to be like a racial crime? Is like somebody just going to like I thought somebody was like might just like drive past and just like bullets through the window, yada yada. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think so, because I think that again reaches the point where it's like the movie never treats its character, like never kicks them while they're down. You know, it like the same as in the scene where he's in the bank. I was expecting that to also be like, we can't give this loan to you because you're black, and instead it's because he's a pornographer, which like is of course that's also shitty and sucks and whatever, you know. But like, it's not kind of going for the low blow, right? And the same, you know, there are some like rapey scenes, but there's there's no like rape scene in this. You know, the scene with Roller Girl in the car is like it gets to that uncomfortable point, but then it stops. You know, so it doesn't feel like it goes there in a way that kind of cheapens or just becomes like exploitative trauma, you know, porn or whatever. So,
that way, it blows Showgirls out of the water. Just saying, like,
totally, 100%.
And it also, because it doesn't also like break up the cohesion of like the movie. Like you don't get taken out of it because you're never like, like fuck, this is like weird. Like I don't know. You don't get that, and like Showgirls had that. There's like a couple of like, oh man, like do I really want to be watching this movie right now? Which is, I don't know. I mean, this movie was I didn't know anything about it going in. I thought like Boogie Nights was just like, oh, like the 80s boogie, disco. Whatever. Disco, yeah. Yeah, right. So like complete fucking 180 from what I was imagining. In a pretty good way though. I did enjoy it. Like super interesting to see. I really, really quickly started like comparing it to Showgirls in my mind, right? Because it's like so immediate, but it really does just kind of blow it out of the water. Like I don't know.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Showgirls it's different in the, you know, the context I guess it's in, and of course being from a woman's perspective, it kind of opens up more of a, you know, exploitation angle to begin with.
I feel like they still exploited him a lot here too, but
I meant more like from a exploitative filmmaking, not like in a bad way, but in like the like capital E exploitation movies, right. But so I, you know, while they have similar content, I do think that this movie is much more, maybe not delicate, but just like better handled.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think this movie thinks of porn? Not the porn industry, but pornography as like a whatever artistic medium.
That's kind of interesting. I don't know, because so like Burt Reynolds.
He's like, I want to make art, man.
right. So I couldn't really get a read on him because like the beginning of the movie, right? He's like always going like, I gotta make art. Like I'm making art. Doing something big here. But like I don't know, the acting kind of sucks. Like there is no acting. It's just like
that's
especially
the one
like the
thing
first few scenes. It's just like he walks in.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You got this? Can you just walk in and whip your dick out?" And he's like, "I think I can do it." It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Like, it's one of the only things in this movie that feels mean-spirited. And like I I have my problems with the porn industry, whatever. Obviously, this movie is talking about those things too here.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem kind of... It's maybe the most, like, satirical or, like, mocking thing in the whole movie is when, you know... And I've been trying for the last couple days to remember what this reminds me of. But to have all of this, like, really, like, proselytizing about, like, craft and, like, good writing and telling a story that, you know, makes people want to stay even after they've blown their load.
Yeah.
And then to show at the end of the day that it's just another shitty porn movie.
Yeah.
Is really just, it feels like a mean, it feels mean-spirited. And I don't know if that's, like, it doesn't feel like it's made with, like a loving kind of, like, jab at the, like, 70s 80s porn that I, you know, some people, like, really, like, think that's the classic golden age whatever of, like, when things were so whatever, like, some people, like, have a fondness for it. And I didn't get that. I think this director is too young to really have that kind of, like, view, that nostalgic, like, rose-colored glasses view of porn. I don't know. But so yeah, I you know, it felt kind of like mocking of these characters in a way that the rest of the movie didn't necessarily feel like. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially the director, like, in particular, they kind of, like, rub his face in it. And then...
Well, and he goes from doing film to videotape, too, at the end.
Right.
Like, you know.
Yeah,
and,
he
like,
gives in.
He's kind of crushed. Yeah. So...
having his friend be arrested for... Yeah. For child pornography as well. I don't know if you're going to beep that or not. I don't know if we can have that, like, on the air, but yeah, it's...
I would rather say child sexual abuse materials.
Child sexual abuse materials. Yeah. I mean, he's recording a kid. It's, you know...
Yeah,
that
right.
Is what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is, like... And you can see that, like, he's like, trying to almost convince the other guy. He's like, but you know, you didn't do nothing, right? You didn't do nothing. And he's, like, trying to convince the other guy. He's trying to convince himself.
And he's like,
especially when he scouted the kid at 17. He was like, great, perfect. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. It's all fucked up. Like, I do think this movie doesn't... I mean, like I said, I think it has a negative view of the industry.
For sure.
And, you know, whatnot. But it is just kind of weird to, you know... Because like, when they first start filming the scene of the, between Julianne Moore and Mark Wahlberg, the first scene that he's in, where they're in, like, the office.
Yeah.
There is some, like, genuine, like, chemistry and, like, whatever between the two of them, and then it slowly kind of gets beaten out of them, you know, into, like, you know, hammy, corny porn dialogue.
Yeah.
And so it's, you know, it's almost like the movie is like, well, this could be a real art form, or, like, this could be valid, but really it's, you know, just another shitty, like, exploitative thing.
For guys to schlock off to. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, it's very interesting, I guess. Because why would you make a movie about this industry that's full of these characters that are meant to be empathized with for this artistic medium that you don't really support, or you think it's just the butt of a joke, I guess? I don't know. It's fascinating.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like, it almost treats it, like, that part like a joke, or at least, like, the Burt Reynolds character, like, he's a joke.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of that is just sort of an indictment of, like you said, of the industry itself. Maybe not individual directors, but, like, I feel like you can't really, like, indict the industry without, you know, also, like, pointing at the people directly behind it, or, like, directly responsible for it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more, like, along those lines, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's compelling.
It
I
is,
think, at the
for
end
sure.
Of the day, you know, so.
But he's, like, I mean, I don't want to say, but, like, the director was nice to everyone. Like, you know, they all kind of got along at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like, I don't know, like, it's really reductive and, like, it sounds dumb. But...
No, but I think it's both, right? It's like he can be a kind of skeevy dude who scouts the nightclub for the 17-year-old dishwasher, and also provide a home for these people who've been fucked up and have nowhere else to go. Like, it can, you know, it can be both.
And, like, I feel like you were saying with, like, the facial acting, at the end, like, you see like Burt Reynolds and Mark Wahlberg sort of like hug it out and shit.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's kind of like, he's like, you know what, like, I kind of made these people who they are, right?
Yeah.
Like, I need to take some responsibility for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's again, like a very empathetic view of these characters, despite what feels like not taking this, again, artistic medium seriously. Which is just a really, interesting kind of way of, I guess, making a movie, you know? Like, why make a movie about this topic if you think it's just laughable? But,
right.
But yeah, I mean, it makes compelling movie.
Yeah. Definitely more there.
I do want to talk about, I mean, there's a lot to talk about in this movie, but I do want to talk about the individual acting performances. Like I said, I didn't know Mark Wahlberg had this in him, although part of it does feel like it could be him just kind of playing himself. Like how much of this is his brilliance and how much of this is him also being like a cocky, no pun intended, like 24-year-old or however old he was, you know, right after his fucking rap career probably was like peaking. He's in this movie.
He was a rapper?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Mark Wahlberg?
He went, I am not fucking with you. Marky Mark. Please look up Marky Mark.
Wait.
He did
That's
Good
a real
Vibrations.
thing?
I've
said Marky Mark before just because it's like funny.
Oh yeah, that's because he's a that's
a real thing. That's so
name. Stage name.
Marky Mark and the Funky
Google him.
Bunch. Wow.
Yeah. Well, because his brother was in New Kids on the Block, if you know the name of that band. So.
I don't think so. Sorry.
They were. Oh, you're fine. No, they were. They were in like the 80s and 90s. They were like pre-NSYNC boy band material. But yeah, no, he was. Mark Wahlberg was a rapper kind of before he got famous. Or before he became a famous actor, I should say. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. It feels like a lot of actors have just like random backgrounds, which I don't know. I've never really looked into, but hearing about them is always fun.
Yeah. But I do think, I think there's a lot of incredible performances in this. None blew me away as much as Mark Wahlberg, just because I expect nothing but the best from a lot of this cast. You know, Julianne Moore, who plays the Amber Waves character, which it took me for like probably them saying that name, like 3 or 4 times before I realized that I was like, that's funny. Yeah, she's probably my favorite actress. Maybe I would have to think about
it.
She's probably my favorite actress of all time. Yeah, she's incredible. She's really, really good.
What else is she in?
And I had, she's in May December.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually in a lot. She has a pretty prolific career. She was in The Big Lebowski. She was in Children of Men. She was in a couple other films by this director. She's in Safe, which is a movie I really like. One of my favorite, probably top 3 movies of all time. She just has a really kind of incredible vulnerability and like, she's really good at it. It's funny. So at the end of this movie, she's staring in the mirror, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but she's like staring in the mirror after Burt Reynolds comes up to the Jack character comes up to her, and he's like, "You're the foxiest bitch alive," or whatever, and she's like, "Haha, thanks," and she's just sitting there like brushing her hair in the mirror, and it's kind of like this like thoughtful, you know, like sadness kind of behind, like resolute sadness, I guess.
Yeah, almost melancholic kind of.
Yeah, and I turned to Christopher. I was like, "We got to get her out of the house," because Julianne Moore plays in like every fucking movie. She like, not really, but like a lot of movies, she's playing like a timid housewife or like kind of downtrodden woman,
wistful of another life.
Kind of, yeah, or like she was in, if you remember, All That Heaven Allows. She was in the pseudo remake of that movie. That's not her.
Okay. I was going to say, whoa, what? Okay.
Yeah. But she was playing that role in the kind of remake of that movie. So she's just really good at portraying this kind of like vulnerability and like sad repression, but not in like a showy way, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think that she's I don't. She's just a good face actor, and she's really good at conveying a lot. She's got like a very striking face.
Yeah.
And then in May December, which came out last year, that was the I think we had talked about that in the group chat a few times. She kind of turns that persona of hers on its head, because she's playing like a woman who groomed a child and is married to him as an adult, but she's still kind of playing like repressed little girl in a woman's body. It's fascinating. Anyway, I think she's had just such an incredible acting career, and I have only scratched the surface with her movies, but she's in like some of my favorites of all time. So
yeah, I mean, trying to scroll through her Wikipedia page is kind of crazy. Definitely super prolific.
Yeah, she's been in probably hundreds of movies, so
yeah,
she's great. And in this movie, I think she does a really good job, like we talked about with the custody scene, of like having like dignity and shame, playing those, and like that scene really just transported me, like her kind of like I said, like indignance, despite having to answer for like being arrested or whatever, like in the face of the law. It's just, I think it's really powerful. I think she's really good at that. So
when it cuts to her outside and it's like no words. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
Even just thinking about it got a little sheesh, like
Yeah, it's really sad. And a lesser movie would like have her have like a big speech about missing her kid, or like have the kid show up, like you could definitely see how this becomes like like a bigger plot point, but it's never harped on really. It's like mentioned in a couple scenes and that's it. And then she, of course, has the scene with Heather Graham, Roller Girl, where they're doing coke together, and she does great coke acting there. Like she's, when they're sitting on the bed and she's like, kind of can't make up her mind about what she wants to do, and Roller Girl's like, "You're my mom now. Say you're my mom." Well, I'm gonna ask if you're my mom, and you say that you're my mom now. And like. The way that they both do a great job of like holding their faces in a very particular, like the way that people do when they're on coke, you know what I mean?
Lane, I'm not as familiar with it. I don't believe.
Really? Wait, really?
Yeah.
You worked in kitchens.
Yeah,
Come on.
I mean, I've seen people on coke, but I don't know that particular face.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just do a great job there, I think, in that particular scene as well.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, it's super cool. Can't believe you're so brushed up on coke knowledge. Like, come on.
I've interacted with people. I mean, what do you want from me? I can't believe you don't. It's like, when someone's stoned.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You can very clearly do a caricature of when someone's stoned.
Yeah.
Or, or like zooted on whatever.
Yeah, but I haven't done coke, so I don't know.
Well, sure, but like you've seen enough people.
I wouldn't say enough. Like, I've seen a couple of people on it. Like, but that's not...
That's crazy. That's crazy.
My friends don't really do that.
I feel like we've seen enough movies of people doing coke that you should...
Not even. I don't know. Have we?
Maybe not. I'm trying to think if we...
I don't think we've seen one. I mean, I guess Showgirls, like,
We watched Goodfellas, a movie that this movie is influenced by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I guess they
obviously they were
do
doing
the
coke in
face
playtime.
Yeah. It's true.
We should talk about the scene of them trying to sell the baking soda as coke.
I don't know. To me, that's kind of all set up as a joke. Like when they're like plotting it beforehand, all around like the like shitty not even a poker table, but like shitty fucking like. Or not
dinner
ornamental.
Table.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a particular word for it. I don't know. Like it's like it looks like lawn chairs, and then like the one dude's in the back, like he's like, "Hey, I don't think this is like a great idea."
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, we should talk about his performance too. He played Scotty, the guy who tries to kiss Mark Wahlberg at one point.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's also a prolific actor, who you probably haven't seen. God, have we watched a single movie with him in it? I don't think so. He was in Happiness, the movie that you wanted to watch at one point.
Oh,
you were
okay.
like, oh, this sounds fun. And then I'm like, this is about a pedophile.
I think I have to watch The Big Lebowski. A lot of people showed up Boogie Nights and The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. Big Lebowski's a Coen Brothers movie. They did Fargo. He's also in The Hunger Games. He's in...
seeing that.
He's in a movie we should watch called The Talented Mr. Ripley. He's actually in the Manhunter remake, playing the reporter character who gets fried up in the parking garage.
Oh, shit. Wow. Do they light him on fire, too? Is that that's what happened to that guy, right?
Exactly what they do.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they lit his ass on fire. But I'm not going to talk about it. We'll watch that movie maybe one day when we want a fun little treat.
Is it still called Manhunter?
No, it's called Red Dragon. That's the name of the original book.
Okay.
A better name than Manhunter, but
fair.
But yeah, the movie's not great, but it's fun. It's fun.
All right, cool.
Parts.
Okay.
It's got Anthony Hopkins playing fucking Hannibal Lecter again. So like,
hey,
what's
not that love? Yeah.
But, yeah, exactly. Anyway, his character or actor performance, whatever I'm trying to say.
Oh, excellent. When he's the scene of them out at the car, like really early in the film.
Yeah.
Tough.
When Chris, because I was like, when they introduced his character, and because I knew he was in this movie and I knew what he looked like in this movie, but I didn't know he was playing kind of like whatever, a closeted or whatever kind of gay guy. And when they introduce him and he turns and like the camera onto Mark Wahlberg at the pool party, it's like one of the most ostentatious like special effects in the movie to show that he's like beelining on him. I was like, what is going on? And Chris was like, oh yeah, this is maybe the borderline homophobic plot in this movie. But I don't think it was, I didn't get that vibe.
I also didn't get that vibe.
I don't think Chris, I'm not throwing Christopher out of the bus. Shout out Christopher.
It's
just like, it could have gone that way, but it didn't, right?
Yeah,
it's another like little dignity that this movie has of like, yeah, like it doesn't go for that like cheap shot of like, oh, the homophobic or like they're, he's just like, bro, we're friends. Like he's not a caricature. He's kind of shown, like I said, with empathy, like him crying in the car afterward. He does a great job there.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I'll say for all of the little dignities that the characters are given throughout the film, really sticks it to you that, like we were talking about earlier, that they're like 80s porn directors. You guys fucking suck.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In between all of these like really layered kind of character like scenes or like character beats, there's these like goofy movie, like documentary style movies where they're showing like Dirk Diggler's like action porn persona and like all of the like fake, how he's like, I'm a black belt in karate, like
when he
like,
says that at
shit.
the pool party too, it's so fun. Like before the scene that they're like, oh, you can't be in the scene. It's not a pool party, but still.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So
I'll beat your ass. I know karate. So like, that's the character.
And then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
That's the character that like Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is modeled after, right? Like,
yeah. I've never really watched that show. So.
Oh, all right. Wow.
As a Philly hater, I can't engage.
Which is crazy. That's crazy.
I'm kidding.
For what?
I just don't watch TV. You know.
Yeah,
this. If they make an It's Always Sunny movie, I will watch. Okay.
I'm gonna start splicing episodes together like the movie.
Please don't. I don't know. I feel like if I was gonna start watching TV, that would be kind of lower on my list.
That's
show
fine.
Seems
totally valid. It's pretty mean-spirited. I mean, the city is pretty mean-spirited. I think the show sort of takes that in stride in a lot of ways.
But yeah, so the one other kind of bone I have to pick. Let's talk about the scene where William H. Macy kills himself and his wife. That speaking of mean-spirited, besides the kind of jokes about porn as a art form, that also kind of teeters on just a little bit too far. I understand that it's, metaphorically, it's like symbolizing like okay, the 70s and like all the fun hedonistic like sex of the 70s, like the consequences of that are here now in the 80s, you know? And
Right.
so I get it symbolically. It just, because it's never dealt with or acknowledged, other than at the very end, there's a portrait of him hanging in Jack's house in that hallway where he kills himself. Yeah, like a big painted, like a big painted portrait of him, not his wife. It's just, you know, I'm just curious what they mean by that besides the symbolic, like, this is the end of the decade, here's the new decade, you know?
Yeah. So that's what I was referring to as the tonal shift. For me, that's where, like, the
totally,
movie, like...
100%. Yeah, for sure.
And it's, like... It's almost, like, eerie and off-putting, like, the minute, like, lead up to that, right? Or, like,
yeah, because he's walking to the car and you don't really see his face, and, like, you know what's going on, but, like, you're hoping it's not going to be what you think it is.
Right. And, like, the whole time it's like, oh, man, like, where is this film going?
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna, like, just shoot up the place entirely. But yeah, it's just, like, fucked. I don't know. I can't believe I didn't notice the portrait there. That's so insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when
interesting detail.
It's when the Jack character is walking through the house after whatever the cookout, and he's, like, walking back to Julianne Moore in the back. That's when he says, like, you're the foxiest bitch, whatever. So it's he's walking the same path almost, or, like, he's walking through the house in the same kind of way. And it's just, it's like, yeah, what are we doing here? Other than, like, being very obvious. Like, this movie is very ostentatious with its style. Like, all of the long takes and, like, the kind of, like, frenzied camera movements and stuff. So,
a lot of really cool takes. Like, with
for sure,
just with that,
yeah, fun technical kind of like marvels. Like, how did they keep the camera running this long and do all of this stuff like perfectly executed? But to then, you know, to do that kind of thing, is it supposed to be like, well, the more things change, the more things stay the same? Like, is it supposed to be like they haven't really, nothing has, you know, no one has moved on from this moment? Is it like, well, he's just a casualty of the, you know, changing decade? Like, what? You know, what are we going for here by, like, drawing this parallel? And it left me dissatisfied, I guess. So
yeah, I guess I just read it as, like, as a casualty of the of the changing decade.
I guess I mean at the end.
I don't know,
like by drawing that. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, shitty that he's remembered to have his wife. Who was, like, the innocent victim in this.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, would you do that? Like, if somebody, like, shot someone in your home and then shot themselves, would you, like, ever consider having a portrait of them? Like, ever? Like, in any reality? I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It is strange. You know, but I guess in the 70s or the 80s, right? Especially if
it's like, well, like a different time, they're like, whatever. We'll just have a portrait commission of him.
I guess, yeah, and, like, he's our bud, and he was pushed to the limit by his whore wife, you know, like, not that I feel this way, of course, but I can just, what would lead a pornographer to idolize a man like that, like, or to, you know, remember his friend fondly. Enough, you know.
Yeah, I guess I guess it is weird that they don't say it explicitly. It is just like the portrait. So it's like, all right, well, what? Like you're saying, what are they getting at?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, after the midpoint of the film, like nobody ever says anything about it at all. I sort of saw that as just like, oh, he's like a forgotten relic. Yeah. Like the people who get hurt are forgotten about, and nobody really pays attention to them. Or like the casualties of an era, right? Like, yeah, I don't know.
It's weird. It definitely like left me like being like, oh, ew. Like, are we about to like recreate this scene? Like, is he about to go shoot somebody? You know, like, or what's just like that. You know, it's so deliberate. Everything in this movie is so deliberate. So like to include that, I
didn't even draw the parallel with him like
walking through the hallways. Yeah.
Damn.
It's strange, for sure.
No.
But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a perfectly cogent and not icky explanation of it that I'm just not seeing. But I started the conversation about the scene, the firecrackers inside the drug dealer's house scene, but I derailed us. So, yeah. You were saying it was Scotty, the Philip Seymour Hoffman character, is like, "Hey guys, this seems like a bad idea," and they're like, "Shut the fuck up, Scotty!" Like,
yeah, like he's like the lone voice Scotty. Of reason. Like, please.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Headcanon, Dirk was like, like when he's doing that like. Full how do you say it, the
he has like the epiphany
acting?
Yeah, face acting. Yeah.
Like I like to think that, I mean, a lesser movie would have like Scotty's words in
a
the
thought
background.
Bubble. Oh yeah, sure. The have devil with like angel on his shoulder.
Yeah. It's what, like Scotty and Jack.
Yeah. But no, go ahead. No, please.
No, I mean, yeah, just a super fun scene. Not fun, but like, I mean, it's nice.
It's like a crescendo.
Our characters escape.
Yeah. It really is like
it's actiony.
Totally, and it's like it is a true climax. So like you think that you have the climax of the movie when they're all getting their asses beat, and it's like, okay, they're at their lowest point. Like, you know, it can only be a recovery from here. No. We are still trapped in cocaine. And so, just like watching them and just being like, there's something fun, you know, we'll have to watch like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs or something sometime. There's something fun about, you know, being like, you guys are doing the stupidest thing and like just cheering at the screen and being like, do not do that. Like, stop what you're doing. Like, listen to the voice of reason. That does lead to just like a fun watch.
And it is the fact that it happens right after like Buck gets away with the cash, and it's like, oh fuck, like are repercussions going to catch up to him, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, not like a misstep, but it is like, it's that misdirection that you're talking about. Really cool stuff. I don't know. At that point in my mind, Marky Mark, he had that plot armor. You know, I was like, all right, well, like he's getting out of here
for sure. I knew, you know, I knew that he had to live because I was like, there's no way we don't see his dick. Like, there's no way.
Right?
You know, like... They'll show every other body part except for a penis. And so I was like, okay, like...
So did you watch the full frontal version?
I mean, he shows his dick at the end.
Is it like 3 hours? Yeah, he shows his dick at the end. Yeah.
Is there more than one version of this movie?
I assumed. So, I just watched it on Internet Archive. Because like it's the spot, right? And it was like, oh, like full frontal version. This version has been modified, yada yada. I was like, oh, okay. Like, is there going to be more dick or something? And there's just none of it, like at
except
all,
for at
until the very end.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's made. I think because it's the final joke of the movie. Is that he's doing the same thing he did as a kid, basically, in his room, where he's like just flopping it out onto his leg. You can fucking hear it coming like an earthquake. It's funny, but it's this is a movie you haven't seen, but it's basically a combination of like Taxi Driver. Oh, you've seen Taxi Driver, actually.
I have seen Taxi Driver. Yeah,
it's like Taxi Driver. You did give me that on VHS. It's kind of a combo of Raging Bull and Taxi Driver in like the talking, hyping, like hype man talking to himself in the mirror, but like he's really just super insecure and like fragile and violent. And Raging Bull is similar to that in a couple ways as well, especially at the ending. And so, kind of, you know, this director's style is very kind of like Paul or Zack Snyder. You know, he's throwing a lot at the screen.
It's very what?
Yeah.
Just one this time.
It just draws a lot of attention to itself, you know, and like there's a lot of Scorsese in here. There's a lot of like Robert Altman. So it's and that's not a bad thing. It's definitely an interest, like you said. It's got a lot of cool technical stuff going on. That's not 100% to my tastes. I just like, you know, drawing attention to itself is kind of leaves me feeling a little bit like, okay, settle down. But it's not bad.
What? Like just the fact that they include like
No, it's not the doing it. Like, Goodfellas has a huge, crazy, ostentatious long take in it, but it feels much more sincere, and not like in an ironic Gen X way that this movie does, where this movie is very like, this movie came after Goodfellas, and it's very like, okay, we're doing, just as an example, the long take where you go into the nightclub at the beginning, and it's just a one continuous shot. It's very much like, can't you tell how we're like introducing all of these characters, which is not what Goodfellas does, and we're setting up all these plot threads, and you're meeting basically everyone right at the beginning of the movie, and it's kind of like, okay, like, this is it, like, this is the first scene in the movie, so you're getting like, this is the style, like, buckle up kids, we're in for the long haul with this. Whereas in Goodfellas, it's not the first scene, and it's very like, the long take serves a purpose besides just being like, look at this sprawling odyssey I'm introducing you to. It's very purposeful in kind of saying, okay, look at these, the like life that she's being introduced to in that movie, and how he kind of guides her into it, and kind of goes through the rungs of like the back of house all the way to the very front. Yeah.
So in Goodfellas?
Yeah. So do you remember, it's the scene where he takes her out on the date, like the real date, after he like ditches her.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay,
and then they go through the back because there's like a long line, and then he leads her through like the kitchen and like the closets and the hallways and stuff, and then eventually they pull up a table at the very front. Yeah, it's a great scene. It's an incredible scene, and this movie does that too, but it feels like ironic. It feels like a pastiche. It feels kind of like showy.
So I thought it was just to mirror at the end where they do the other long shot, and I mean,
I think it's both. Yeah, there's a ton of long shots.
It's also really similar to Showgirls in that way, because like they do the same like early, maybe not early long shot, but the like, at least in Showgirls, like the dude dropping her off is the same guy like picking her up at the end when she's leaving, and like they're seeing like a similar sign, but like she's on it on the way out, and someone else was on it on the way in. So it's just I don't know. I think it's funny when movies do that.
For sure,
and it's cool to see like the family get introduced, and then at the end it's like, oh, they are found family now, and like, it's funny to see the fucked up way that the like strangers we see at the beginning become found family. Which I don't know. That was cool.
I don't disagree. It's just, there's so many kind of scenes like that are very like unsubtle, and I don't think subtlety is like the best thing a movie can do. It's just, it feels very like, tonally, this movie is very like, see all these cool tricks I can do, Dad? Like, don't you, aren't you proud of me?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like when he's like talking about coming, I forget what scene it is. There's a scene where he's like, okay, now finish, or like come in her or something, and then it like kind of cuts to a champagne bottle being uncorked. I think it's after the first scene, and it's like, and it takes a second for your brain to register what it is. It's like. It's very, like I said, ostentatious, which is the director's style, and like obviously that's what he's going for. It's just like, I'm like,
I like that sort of stuff. I think that's funny. I don't know.
You're allowed. Yeah, it's a matter of personal taste. I just, like I said, it's just not. I don't love it. I think it feels a little bit showy. That's all.
Okay, fair.
This guy doesn't need my accolades, to be clear. Like, this is a very well regarded fucking director that doesn't, he's fine without my personal taste.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, okay, I wasn't offended on his behalf or anything. I'm sure that he's.
Can you chill out? Can you stop attacking me for my fucking personal opinions?
Yeah, you're right, my bad, Lane.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? Come on. I come on this podcast and you're just constantly beating me down for my opinions.
Truly my the most depressed class.
My soapbox podcast. My podbox.
My podbox.
But
Doctor, I am Podliachi.
We didn't make that joke last week, and I was mad about it because of fucking Watchmen. When he said that, I like turned. I've been making jokes in that voice to Christopher for like the past week and a half. Like, just
please.
The duck walks up to the lemonade stand, like,
and he says to the man, "We're up at the stand. Got any grapes?" Dude. And and he waddled away.
I'm glad we didn't talk about it on last week's episode.
We saved it for the good movie.
Yeah, true.
I still kind of like watching it. This was a much more fun watch than that, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is a much better movie.
Yeah.
Last stone, I guess, untouched or unturned here. Well, go ahead. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, okay, I've got a stone. We can say for after your stone. This is a little skipping stone.
You want a stone toss? Excuse me?
No, I'm not gonna dog whistle.
Is he
like
still
that.
around? I'm just kidding.
I think probably.
I don't know. I feel like that was revealing how long it's been since I've been on the internet proper, making a stone toss joke. Anyway,
yeah, I don't think he's popular, but
yeah. Anyway,
he's still alive, right? Anyway,
damn, that's too bad. The costumes and set design.
Believe that, or we'll have to break up like Tenacious D because we gotta make sure that Disney will approve us for our next Kung Fu movie.
Panda, yeah, or fucking Mario Brothers. I was gonna take Christopher to see them in State College because they were doing the Rock the Vote thing, and so they were gonna.
Did they cancel it?
He fucking broke up their whole band.
Fucked.
It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Whatever, man.
I want to say that has this. It's kind of fucked up. I think that's been the most impactful thing to happen off of the attempted assassination of a president of one of the currently running presidential candidates. Yeah. Although I do think that also. Yeah. Well. Yeah. No, Kennedy was the big one. I don't want to say that was the biggest, but although I do think that that's a lot of the reason why the push for Kamala sort of happened as well, because they were I think a lot of the Democratic Party was that's I don't know. It was an impetus for them to do something, and they did, and I think it was a really good move.
Hell yeah!
I'm really excited for Kamala. I think she has great PR too. I've been liking a lot of the stuff that I've been seeing come out of her.
I do too. I've been won over.
Yeah,
I've been won over. Yeah,
yeah. Same.
I'm why not? Let's sure. That's how I feel. Let's go.
I used to think she was a little goofy and weird, right?
And now I'm goofy and weird.
And I still do it, and I'm hell yeah. I want that in office. Fuck yeah.
It's great. I'll take it. It's better.
Not even I'll take it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't want Trump up there. I don't want Biden up there. Come on.
I'll take it. Yeah. She's not my ideal, but it's definitely the best of what we've got. That's what
there's not a single other candidate out there that I'd be this person is reasonably positioned to become president, and I'd want
sure, that's what I mean. This is our best option that we have, and so sure, I like it.
Yeah. Not to get too political on the pod, but.
In the early days, we definitely were never mind. Go listen to our old episodes, new watchers.
I did.
No,
I did want to mention it though, because when
we're four tangents deep. Open up a new tab. Here we go.
when the attempted assassination happened, I was like, oh fuck! This was crazy. This was huge. And then, now I'm fucking blip on the radar. It doesn't even matter.
A blip on his ear cartilage, more like. Anyway, before we get back to talking about Boogie Nights from 1997, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, I wanted to say, I don't buy Jack Black. I actually don't buy most of the internet's, celebrities that are yeah, this guy's so cool and chill and down to earth. I don't buy Keanu Reeves. I'm coming out here and fucking saying
Keanu. I buy Keanu. I don't buy Jack Black. Keanu? Never bought Jack Black. I think he's a fun, goofy guy, but I don't know.
I just think the
Keanu?
internet's chosen celebrities are sus. I just feel there's a certain contingent of oh, my unproblematic king. I don't buy it. Hosier? Another one.
You wanna know who You wanna know who
I love Hosier.
About with that? So these guys aren't really triggering it for me, right? But so I just don't. I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Reynolds. I think he tries way too hard to play the likable goofball. John Krasinski is one that I'm I'm like, this
Oh,
guy's
we
got
talked about Krasinski.
fucking weird as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, who else am I?
Because
I'm
I know
thinking of Robert Downey
weird
Jr.
and right wing and shit, but we know RDJ kind of has scattered past or whatever.
Weird. Yeah,
I feel like he's
Mel
probably
Gibson
cool now. I don't know.
No, I don't think he's cool now. I think he's a fucking craven piece of shit. Actually,
damn! Wow. I'm glad you mentioned Robert Downey Jr. because I didn't know he was a nepo baby, and his dad was in this movie.
in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
he was a director. I mean, he was an actor too, I believe. But he's
he was Bert in this movie.
Yeah,
classic character Bert.
We could get into this. I just feel like there's a certain contingent of, you know what, Matthew McConaughey. Like, there's just it's like a type of celebrity. There's just like a certain type of celebrity that's like, you know, our unproblematic king, and he's just weird and out there doing his thing, and like he's got, you know, but he doesn't care about fame.
Pedro Pascal then?
I don't really have a strong opinion on him either way. I think he's a fine actor. I think he's a little.
You don't think he's one of these?
Right now.
Yeah,
a little bit. He's definitely like internet daddy, whatever. I think that's a slightly different type, though.
Right,
than what I'm describing.
Like I think I don't know. I think he's one of the ones that to me just shows up as like he was like a kind of like normal guy. He got like way too famous, and now he's like, all right, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. But like not in a weird way, just in a doesn't compose himself in a certain way. Like I mean, Jack Black and like a lot of these other guys definitely have like a very particular image that they go for, right?
There's like a specific guy I'm trying. It's like a Reddit celebrity,
So Jack Black is like the Reddit celebrity in my mind.
Well, okay. This is a great episode. I'm glad we're doing this. So like, fucking and like I said, I like Keanu Reeves.
Keanu's pretty Reddit.
Keanu, fucking Bill Nye. I'm about to name like 5 guys here. Bill Nye,
burgers and fries.
Bob Ross. Tell me Bob Ross fits this. But think about it. Think of with your critical brain. Open your eyes.
Open your third eye.
But then, who is the third one? Oh, fucking Steve Irwin. Again, these guys. I have no problem with any of these guys. But there's a cult of personality around him, and I don't buy it. I am not in the fucking cult. I am a reject of the cult. I am out of the Kinds of Kindness cult. I did not pass the lick test.
I feel like Steve Irwin was a good dad.
I'm not saying
nice guy.
I am making no judgments. I'm making a good fella. I'm making no judgments on how these guys actually are. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Like I am neutral. I am value neutral on these guys. It's just there's just a little bit too much of like he's an unproblematic king thing for me that I'm like, this is weird. We're taking this in a weird direction.
So are you not like neutral like that on everyone before you like at least meet them and like maybe interact? Like no one that like I've not interacted with could I like verifiably say like, oh, 100% like this person is who they appear to be. Like,
I'm not like
person, yada yada.
Well, sure. I mean, of course, when it comes to celebrities, like that's I'm not like actually Natalie Portman is my best friend. Like I'm not. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
no. That's not what I'm saying. Like.
I mean, there's definitely celebrities that I think are like good people or bad people, sure, or like seem like one or the other.
What would it take to convince you that like one of these, like that Jack Black is just like seriously just like the Jack Black?
I mean, probably nothing because celebrity images are so highly cultivated. That's why I don't buy it. Like there are very few celebrities that I'm like I would like ride for. There's celebrities whose art I really like. But
yeah,
even if like when Megan Thee Stallion, who I love, you know, when that like employment fucking lawsuit happened a few months ago, where it was like she like kind of did some shitty employment shit to one of her like contractors, I think a photographer, like yeah, that fucking sucks, and that like reflects really poorly on her, and like she made a really shitty decision, in all of that, like that fucking sucks. So, and like, I hope that doesn't, you know, she's young enough in her career that I'm hoping that that's like an early thing and not like the trajectory she's on. But if it is, then like that fucking sucks. And I wouldn't not believe it.
So I base level, just don't trust like any of these people, right? Because I mean, all of them have a lot of money. Like they're like obviously, not they're obviously lying to us, but like,
yeah, no, they are. I mean, that's what PR is. That's what an image is. Right. Like is a fabrication.
Right. And like that's fine by me. Whatever. As long as like they're not like
I play along.
Shitty people, right? Like sure, whatever. As long as they're not openly shitty, cool, fine.
Right.
But it's why I like reading stories about like people in the service industry who serve, like, any of these people, and like hearing, right, and getting to hear who's like, oh yeah, no, like this person's a good tipper, and they're like, I don't know,
super
not
nice.
Annoying, like,
yeah.
Well, because there are a lot of people that come in there like with, like as a character, right? And like I could see like Robert Downey Jr. as like being like a character, and not a character that I would want to cater to. Versus like Jack Black, who like I could also see like only playing his like Jack Black character. But like I'd totally be fine with like interacting with that, right? And I feel like
sure.
I
guess
know.
there's just
you act like something long enough, you become it, right? Like
maybe
to a certain extent, I guess. Like I don't know, like
I guess it's just to me like that, like, and we really got to get back to our movie. But like
I know,
There's something about, like, the particular, like, fanboyism of certain, usually white male celebrities that just, it just doesn't pass the sniff test to me. Like, is it just people being really excited that there's a guy that they like that doesn't have fucking rape allegations against him? Maybe. I'm sure that's a huge contingent of it. But it also just feels like we're celebrating the bare minimum, or that we're... I don't know. I don't know. Just something, and it is inauthentic because, like, of course, maybe less so some of those guys, like Bob Ross, I doubt had, like, a serious, like, agent or anything back then. But, like,
right.
It's like, why are we pretending that this is also not manufactured just because it's appealing to a very specific type of, like, Gen X or millennial, like, like, authenticity, like, type of, like, relatability, whatever you want to call it. Jennifer Lawrence is another one who, like, people really turned on her for that relatability thing that they still celebrate, like, Jack Black for. People have come around a bit on that, but they're like,
really?
I'm so quirky, like, I like pizza, whatever, I trip up the stairs when I accept my Oscar, like, that kind of thing. Like, people really soured on that really fast, but then we're doing the same thing, to an extent, to some of these other, like, relatable male celebs, like Keanu. He's just eating a sandwich on a bench and he looks so sad. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's all fake.
I feel that, and I think definitely part of it is that, I mean, like, men are going to be more critical of women, right?
Totally.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, especially like famous actresses get like sexualized really simply, even for like eating a bench, like eating a sandwich on a bench and looking sad.
Eating a bench, yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, is that a Subway footlong?" It's like, all right, like, no,
wow,
she's just eating a sandwich. It's on a bench, bro.
Showing
like, come
us
on.
his deep thoughts here.
No, no, but I mean, it's kind of interesting, and I haven't really, I don't know, I never really considered that side of things before. I guess I don't really follow like celebrities for the most part. Yeah.
Another one,
so
I think
I didn't know about the Jennifer Lawrence stuff. That kind of, I don't know. But
like when she first like got big, like it was like, oh, she's great. She's like this, whatever, people thought she was really beautiful. She was like super girl next door-y. Like her image was very like, I'm so quirky. Like I said, like
I mean, I think she's great. I've always kind of thought she's great. Like sort of, almost like we were talking about last week with like the Zooey Deschanel stuff, right? I think Zooey Deschanel's great too, but I don't know.
She's another one that I think people had kind of like backlash to, maybe more rightfully so, because she's not, I don't think, I'd have to think about who's the better actress between the two.
What
of them.
about,
but like,
Audrey Hepburn from Parks and Rec?
Okay, Aubrey Plaza.
Who's Audrey Hepburn?
I want you to Google Audrey Hepburn.
What? Who is she? Wait.
She's an actress from...
She is an actress, but she's like...
Breakfast at Tiffany. She's from like
much
the 50s.
Older actress. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's deceased. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you're
don't know
thinking
why I
of
would
Aubrey.
know her name. That's
Google,
crazy.
because she's one of the most fucking famous actresses of all time. Google Aubrey
Okay,
Plaza.
fair.
We'll watch Breakfast at Tiffany's for this podcast.
Yeah, Audrey Plaza. So Audrey Plaza does like the I'm so quirky thing. Aubrey,
yes.
That's what I was saying, Lane, the whole time.
Yeah, she does. She is also very like, but
was
like
there
in the
backlash
sarcastic
against her for that?
way. I don't think so. I feel like the backlash against her has been very recent. She is a little bit later to that like relatability train, and so, but she has like a more sarcastic style. Her thing is very much like, I'm your mean girlfriend. I'm not your like quirky I love pizza girlfriend. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
She
for
does
sure,
she does a quirky mean, right? Like
yeah. I think an interesting inverse of this phenomena is Ryan Gosling, who used to be people called the internet's boyfriend, and he was in The Notebook, and people thought he was ugly, but like women loved him. And then he started doing like more indie movies, and like, you know, he has like an image that appeals to men now, and they like have wholeheartedly embraced him, especially after Barbie, as like, you know, this cool like modern masculine thing. I don't get like sus vibes.
Does he drive?
Yeah, he drives. In fact,
he drives. Okay.
Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, we should fucking watch that movie. You would fuck with that movie like crazy. Actually.
Hopefully not too much, because I would buy the jacket. I do want to see a movie.
You should actually get the jacket. I think it's looped back around to being cool. The backlash to the jacket has backlashed again, and now it's cool again. I hate that it's 8:30 at night. It's supposed to be a half hour ago. But no, he wasn't Drive. He was the driver.
Okay, yeah. There's a movie, the one that came after the movie you mentioned earlier, The Notebook. Maybe not directly after. I just know he gets punched in a movie, and I saw part of his scene with it, and I was like, oh, this looks like a fun movie. I'd like to see what leads up to this scene.
I believe that's probably The Nice Guys, is the name of the movie.
I might watch that just by myself, or it might be...
You should. I don't like that movie that much.
It's Rick's pick. Okay, alright. We'll find something else for the Rick's pick.
I've seen that movie a lot, so I've seen that movie a couple times. So fair. For a movie I don't like, and is a comedy, I've seen it too many times. Anyway, Mark Wahlberg has tried to rehabilitate his image into like a Christian family man who does biopics about people named Joe and shit like that in Middle America. So I'm segueing us back to Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
How do we even get on this topic? We talked about Tenacious D, Kamala Harris.
Well, that was because of the Kamala Harris. That was we definitely I brought it on to the assassination
Tenacious
somehow.
D. I was because you said that I kicked somebody out of my band, like Jack Black did. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
God, we suck.
Yeah.
Stop the.
You need like a stenographer or something.
Yeah, it's me. It's gonna be me.
Just hearing the click-clacks in the background.
What was I? Oh, I was bringing up the costumes and the set design. Yep. Fuck, man. Okay. What was it?
Was it one of Buck's crazy costumes?
No. Hang on.
He's got the fits, by the way. Like, he wears that shit, too.
He does. They're good. Oh, yeah. Because you were roasting me for my opinions. And I said...
That doesn't happen on this pod.
Okay, all right. The costume and set design are very meticulous. They do a great job of transporting you, even though they might not be 100% accurate. Like, I don't think Jesse's Girl, the song that plays... There's a lot of needle drops in this movie. I don't know that they were all period appropriate. Like Sister Christian.
They felt it.
Stands out.
The vibes were on point. Yeah.
Yeah, the vibes are good, even though the... literal...
The historical accuracy might not
be. Yeah. So... but yeah, no, I mean, I still thought that it's a good looking movie. The sets are really beautiful and like nice to look at, which you don't get a lot of movies like that nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, like as a film, it looks great visually. And then, I kind of wanted to mention in the car scene, right? When they switch from the like whatever film they were filming on, yada yada, like obviously lower quality, to like the movie, and like seeing them in the back once they like break it up, it's like so jarring because at least for me, like there's a disconnect, like at least because it like looks different, right?
Totally.
Because it lets you be like, oh, okay, well, this is not happening like live, right? Like I know the movie is not happening live, but
right, like they wouldn't show me this if it didn't go okay. But no, it really is just like what he's seeing through the lens at that time. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which is like when it does like swap, it's not shocking, but it's definitely like, no, it is pretty shocking. It's got impact to it. Yeah.
It's
which is
it is
like
jarring.
I don't know. I don't know if that's like too much, if that's too showy of like a like sort of effect for them to use.
I don't think so. I think that's less showy than some of the, like some other stuff in this movie.
And like the shooting too, like I mean both of the shootings, but the one specifically in the store, right, with Buck, like and the splatter, the way that like when he grabs the money bag, like it leaves that like a little spot of like empty like non-blood stain. I don't know, it's like it's really like a lot of care was put into like obviously the setups for everything, and just like the way it plays out, and I think it's super cool. I think this movie is one definitely made with care and intention, and it shows. Yeah,
this is a director who's known for being meticulous, not to the level of like a Wes Anderson, or a Christopher Nolan, but who is known for kind of exhibiting that level of like vision for what they want to see versus what they put on screen.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have anything else you want to say about Boogie Nights from 1997? Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson? No. My skipped rock was the Robert Downey Jr. Senior thing.
Oh, so. Sure. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot about that. If I listen back and when I'm editing this and I figure out what the how we got off that tangent, or got on that tangent, I guess, I'll message you and we can do a tight 10 on that. Put it in. I was also thinking, what if I put a bunch of 70s needle drops throughout this episode, just like in the background, like 10-second clips of like fucking Journey songs and shit? Like,
if you had told me that beforehand, I would have started just like throwing in hooks and whatnot just for fun.
Thank God you didn't, because that would be a fucking nightmare. Rick, it is your pick.
It is a Rick's pick. I did not have something picked.
Yeah, I know. You fucking said so earlier in this episode.
I know. Yeah, I know. And I'm reiterating the point now. We mentioned a few movies earlier. We could go with one of those, or should I pick one off the list?
What movies did I mention? I mentioned Raging Bull and Goodfellas and Taxi Driver. Are those the ones?
Oh, there were like 2 or 3 more.
I mentioned Scarface.
What's one of the Ryan Gosling ones? Not The Notebook.
Oh, Drive?
Was that the...
Oh, The Nice Guys?
Sort of indie film? Not the... Well, The Nice Guys, I can watch by myself. But Drive
is... Yeah, the one with the scorpion jacket?
Oh, Drive. No, wasn't... Was there not another one? Was like you were like, oh, he
I
was
said
getting
Barbie.
Into, like, indie films and stuff.
Well, I mentioned Barbie. I don't think I mentioned any
Barbie.
other
Am I crazy? Okay.
I'm looking. No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I mean, La La Land is on this list, but Cats. We were gonna watch Cats because we're gonna put our cats in the cover art.
2 cats. Man, no. Now I feel crazy. I'm like gaslighting myself.
Yeah, I definitely did not mention another Ryan Gosling movie other than Drive, The Notebook, Nice Guys, and Barbie.
All right, I don't know then. I don't know. What do you want to watch?
Yeah. Oh, actually, that's one last thing. They say in this movie, in Boogie Nights, he says, "We want to watch." Like somebody says that, and I was like, "They said the name." I'll cut it in. I'll find the timestamp where he says that. And
that's crazy. That's devotion.
Sure.
Maybe Barry Lyndon.
Oh, okay. You want to do Barry Lyndon?
Let's do Barry Lyndon.
Okay. Yeah. This was the movie that you wanted to watch when we did Amadeus, and I said we should put some distance between the two.
Yeah.
And you'll know what I mean. I think Barry Lyndon is just as good as Amadeus. Well, maybe not quite as good as Amadeus. I don't. We'll see how I feel on the second watch, but
Okay.
it just would compare unfavorably if you watched those two back to back. But I think with the distance that we have, I think it's humor and kind of, you'll appreciate it more, I think, with a little bit more time between them.
Hell yeah. That is really good news. I mean, I loved Amadeus. I told you that it was like my favorite movie that we've watched
top
on
5,
here.
yeah.
And I mean, I think it might, it still holds that spot. It might be top 1, Lane. It might be top like 1
of all time. Of all, like,
maybe not of all time. I don't know of all time.
I was gonna say,
but...
I feel like you described it as a top, which we definitely. This is for Lane, who's listening to this in the future. Write down.
Hi, Future Lane.
That we need to do. Hi, Future Lane. Shout out Future Lane.
Shout out Future Lane.
Year, like a year in review episode. We need to do.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably bleep that so that that can remain a mystery. But I want us to do like a.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but and then we gotta do. There was one more.
Have you seen?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I got that shit on Blu-ray.
Have you seen? That's low key one of my favorites. I fuck with that one. Really? You don't like that at all?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I didn't like it when I watched it.
I fucked with it when I was a kid.
Okay, so like 5 years ago.
Wow. You punk.
There was a third thing.
Don't call me a kid. I know karate. I'll beat your ass.
There was a third special thing. Oh, the
Holy Ghost
Patreon Let's Play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In nomine Patris et Filii Spiritus Sancti. Yes, we will do a Let's Play on a Patreon someday.
What are we gonna play?
Oh, I meant like an actual play RPG, but.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, fuck it. We'll just play. We can play. I don't know. We can play the Jaws board game.
No, I was gonna say we should get Chris on content warning, which I told Chris about. It's just Lethal Company, but like more jokey and fun. And
you also told me and all of our watchers about this too, because you introduced an episode talking about it like 2 weeks ago.
You could have told me that at any point in time, Lane.
I literally just did.
Yeah, I know you just did.
All right, we are pushing a fucking hour 40. Still not as long as this movie. We've been picking a lot of long.
Still not as long as
Barry
Mark's
Lyndon.
cock. Anyway. Oh.
You know, I wish it wasn't a prosthetic. Like, I know that it had to be because there's no way.
Yeah.
But sometimes
it was just sort of like, I don't know. It looked like one of those like dollar store like snakes.
All right. Next week, what is Rick's pick? Pull up the deets so you can take us out, please. God, put me out of my fucking house. I'm gonna have to edit this long. Remember those good days? We should do another movie that sucks, like Ensemble, so we could do an hour-long episode.
And then just get the fuck out of here.
They're just getting longer and longer.
You should needle drop "Take Me Out" as a when you said
again, which was what we did on our Showgirls episode, because that was like the fucking 15-year anniversary or whatever of that album. Please,
that's kind of crazy.
Read.
Wow. Next week we want to watch Barry Lyndon, directed by Stanley Kubrick in 1975. Join us.
Beautifully done. Join us for this 3-hour movie again. Another 3-hour movie.
Ooh.
Cool. Do you want to...